Hi, Lizzie.
Hi.
I'm very excited to find out more about the fact that you love helping women look stylish and also feel amazing. And I just wondered, first of all, how you define what you do, Lizzie.
Well, I'm a personal stylist and wardrobe consultant, and what that means is I'm a trained image consultant, which means I've studied colour, style, proportion, and how clothes relate to the individual in that sense. But I also come from a fashion background, and when I left school, I studied fashion. And I also worked as a model for quite a long time, so I was around a lot of stylists and high fashion. But what I've got for me is, as a personal stylist, is I've got both of those two things. And I think, from what I understand, a lot of image consultants, they don't have the styling background from a fashion perspective, so they're not really interested in the current trends at all. And then also on the other side, fashion stylists, they're not really interested in the practicalities of the clothes. It's very much about the visual. So they're not really accounting for the individual's personal taste and style. For example, when you see someone on the red carpet in a dress that's just not really their personality, it doesn't really look like right, that's usually because they've been styled by a fashion stylist who's totally just looking at the end result rather than the personality behind that. And the same on the image consultancy side. Often it can be very much a very corporate look. And very much about the actual theory base, like the proportion and what you need for this body shape, but the actual style element isn't there.
So you really work in quite a lot of depth with each individual, don't you? Yeah. I mean, it almost feels like personal growth in a way.
Yeah, it is. When I work with a new client, I send assignments through for them to do, and that sounds like tedious homework, but it's not. It's just fun stuff. I really want to get to know that individual person, and so I ask them to do some exercises. Because we need to have a sort of clearing of the ground to start again, and I really need to know exactly what that person loves, the kind of lifestyle they've got, all sorts of different questions I ask, because it's really tapping into their subconscious, because often people don't know what they like, they like what they think they're supposed to like. For example, women in business, they'll often, be wearing these suits and these shirts, and when I talk to them about the dress code at work, they don't need to be wearing that, but that's just the sort of uniform, and they actually feel much more authentic if they've got a dress on, and they look just as smart. So it's just finding what works for that individual, but I really need to go back with that person and help them find who they are first, before I even go into the wardrobe, which, using that information, helps to sort of clear out all the dead wood, and then I know what we need to get to restock it, basically.
Fantastic. So if I were one of your clients, which might happen in the not too distant future,
So.
what would I love about the experience and the end result, Lizzie?
I think the most thing that people get out of it is confidence. My clients are not unconfident in most ways, very intelligent, successful women running businesses, families, but there's always holding them back, that they don't feel great in what they're wearing. It doesn't feel like it's authentically them. It doesn't feel like it expresses and tells people who they are. So what happens is, once they've been able to try on stuff they wouldn't have tried on before, and look at different colours, and be shown in front of a mirror how things would look if they were different, like even just things like rolling up a cuff or just shortening a hem, they can start seeing themselves differently, and they just sort of perk right up, and the confidence just grows immeasurably. And that just has a massive knock-on effect in every area. It can affect the relationships with their family, husbands. It can affect their relationships at work, just across the board, really. So it's definitely, the confidence is the main thing, and also just giving themselves some time, actually, and just, because it requires a bit of time. If you want to sort your wardrobe out, it requires some time, and that means taking a bit of time off work, putting aside some time at the weekend, and putting it in the diary, actually.
Wow. And yet I can imagine women watching this and really loving the idea, but actually coming up with a whole load of reasons of why they shouldn't do it or can't do it. What do you find are the greatest challenges women have in making the decision to book you?
Well, I think it's still, although people really do now, especially, understand the power of image and the importance of it in personal life and in work life. I think that the idea of spending the money on new clothes, on getting rid of things they've never worn with the labels on, is often a lot of guilt and shame around those things. Even though they know it's not frivolous, there's still that part of them that thinks it is, even if it's their own money that they've earned, and they know that it can help their confidence and help their career progress, they can still feel that it's just a little bit frivolous. And I think what people then realise after they've had the experience with me is that they're actually saving money, and all the things that they've bought that they're hanging on to in shame are just reminding them every morning when they get dressed. They can't see the wood for the trees. It really, really helps them just to sort of just lay it all to rest, really, and just start afresh and let go of all that guilt, and know that they deserve it. I mean, a lot of women, they dress in clothes of a much, less quality than they deserve for what they're earning and their position. And it's not about spending lots of money on designer clothes, but it's really about knowing what suits you, what works for you, having alterations done to make things fit properly, just investing the time as well. I think the investment of time is just as important as the investment of money.
I also think investing so that one looks stylish and feels amazing has got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
And it also seems quite essential now to actually really take care about how we project ourselves, I guess.
I think people now know that, I mean, image consultancy as an industry is got bigger all the time, but from a personal styling point of view, obviously the TV shows now showing people the transformation that can happen, obviously using people that are very much at one end of the scale, but on a much smaller scale with people who are confident, like I said, it can still have quite dramatic impacts on their life. And I think people really understand that it is an investment now, and it impacts, as I say, every area of their life.
And are you at all scary, like training into that?
No, not at all, no. And I really, I have such a laugh with my clients. I really think you have to laugh, and luckily I attract clients who, as I say, are confident and successful and can laugh at themselves, and we do have a really good fun, because it is about having fun as well, and I really enjoy that, yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Lizzie.
Thank you.